Wow, how's life? Reviewing the Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron drama. Talked about their personal relationship being a detriment to the team. Fuck. This is a hardcore athlete slash sport question. So I don't know who would be able to answer this or not. But here's something I'm curious about. So for men, I believe our peak testosterone, I want to say, is your early 20s. I think before like 24 is when you're supposed to be peaking for your basically your biological ability to condition, right? So build muscle, be athletic. However, that's not to say that when you're at your peak biological ability to train, that doesn't mean that you are better than somebody older than you, because that person has spent more time training. My understanding was that there's some, like, past 30, you don't have, like, in a lot of these heavy sports like football, basketball, you don't really have like pro athletes as commonly past 30, but it feels like over the past, I don't know, decade, it feels like that's becoming more common. Or am I just seeing like these highlights? Like was Brett Favre? He wasn't 50, but wasn't he like a 40-year-old when he came back and did quarterbacking or whatever? And then LeBron and his son are on the same team. That's crazy. Is that like a matter of the training has gotten better, people are on drugs, or you've got like TRT, or is this just like a couple outliers that... Do all the arrests about Palestinian protesters want you to take up a pro-Palestinian stance? I've never wanted to attend a protest more. No, it just makes me want to defend the First Amendment. The only thing that makes me want to take up a pro-Pally stance is when I hear crazy Zionists or Jews, or Jews start to celebrate the Pally arrest. Not Zionists also, okay? Zeus. No, not Zeus. Oh God, I just mixed up Zeus and Zionists. Jews. Let me make this promise to you, okay? I'm going to promise to you as a streamer, I will never, ever, ever cuck out and become an anti-Zionist, all right? If I get to the point of hating Jews, I'll be anti-Semitic, all right? Fuck anti-Zionism, all right? You're either anti-Semitic or bust, all right? Fuck the halfway point. At Destiny, please help. Am I retarded for even trying to explain what benefits regulation has for the U.S. using examples to a libertarian? Yes, you are. I'm sorry. Strength and conditioning trainings and technology and the science behind training has become so much better. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different things in sports that have gotten better over time. Some of these are obvious, so like drugs. And then some of these are not so obvious. One thing that I heard about, and by heard about, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all watched this YouTube video, is people say that like the world's fastest time for sprinting has gotten so much better over time. But if you actually control for like the gear and the new material the tracks are made out of and everything, the time has gotten better, but like an order of magnitude less. Like whereas people might have thought before it was like so much better, it's like gotten marginally better. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about or the video I'm referencing, but stuff like that. I'm sure that the culture probably around athletes has changed as well. Somebody's mentioned that. It's not as much like crazy like drugs and partying 24/7, but it's a lot more serious. There's probably a lot more money involved, a lot more like brand deals, so vertical integration of stuff. You've got athletes who are now like in serious movies, in like tons of different brand deals that represent like just so much. LeBron has had a full top 10 all-time player career since this tweet, and he had a full top 10 all-time player career before it. Wow. Oh, this tweet. LeBron is 30. This fuckery won't go on for much longer, thank God. Nice. As somebody with no horse in the race, the Michael Jordan hype videos. I never saw LeBron hype videos as cool as the Michael Jordan hype videos. And he was in Space Jam. I don't know what you want me to say, okay? Maybe if instead of Kevin, maybe if Maybe if LeBron was in Uncut Gems, maybe I'd like LeBron more, you know? That's just me. You know, what can I say? I'm a cinephile, okay? I love movies. I love film. I love cinema. Hell yeah. Oh, there it is. See, look, right? those that know. Okay. LeBron's been on the most stacked teams of all fucking time, okay? At a time where his testosterone levels, due to the drugs and conditioning that's available today, is what Michael Jordan was working with when he was 20, okay? Michael Jordan, all right? This is a self-made, okay? This is a self-made basketball player. This guy worked his ass off, okay? LeBron was put together in a fucking lab. It's like watching Rocky 4 with the training between the Russian dude and Rocky out in the snow, okay? It's just not even comfortable. Please don't take any of my opinions on this seriously. Cute though, if you think about it, right? This is like boys will be boys stuff, you know? When you're a kid, what do you debate over? You know, like would Vegeta or Gogeta, whatever, Vegeta or Gogeta, sorry, fuck. Like who would win in a fight, or, you know, who would win in a duel, Snape versus Dumbledore, whatever. It's like the same thing, except in sports. My goat from 30 years ago would crush your goat today, okay? I had the strongest goat of all time. Fuck you. This is what set this all off. Oh no. $5'11", 6 feet. To be in, I guess for everybody involved. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't want to carry water for LeBron, because maybe he truly is being dumb. But like, not to be too conceited, relating it to my own experiences. If people are attacking my son because of stuff related to me, like I think that's pretty cringe. But Nathan is obviously way more active online now. If people are attacking him because of stuff that he's saying, I mean, hey, he's online. That's part of his shit. He's involved in those discussions, and if people are going to shit on him, then go for it. But like drawing the line on that, like what is unfair and what's fair to go in on somebody for, it can be really challenging. And I understand why some people might take it personally, especially when you're making claims of nepotism. It's really hard, if he did make those claims, it's hard to separate like how much is you being a fair commentator versus how much are you just attacking me because, you know, it's my son. I don't know. That's a tough one. That we saw in an Ezra Klein show, and I'm realizing this is true, is like, do people want moderates right now, or do they want extremists? And it seems like everybody wants an extremist. And then Ezra Klein comes in with this observation, and it's like, it's not so much that people want extremists when it comes to policy. They just want people that like message like an extremist, if that makes sense. And I guess in a way, it kind of reminds me of my take of like the progressive stuff is fine. Just don't be soy as fuck when you talk about it. Like, I think the positions, like if you call them the policy position or the social positions, are fine, but just when you message about them, just don't be soy. Issue is that Stephen A said that LeBron hyping up his son was making Bronny's life super hard. LeBron doesn't care about him commenting on gameplay. He just didn't like his comment about his parenting. Well, I mean, it's hard. Like, is that a comment on it? Was it a comment on his parenting? So, like, if Stephen A Smith said something like, Bronny's going to have a tough time in school and with his friends because of LeBron, then I can see that being about his parenting. But if he said something about, like, it's going to be hard for him in the league because LeBron is like so, you know, so much as his hype man, and obviously the Nepo accusation being thrown around. Is that really commentary on his parenting, or more so just the relationship as players, right? I one of these can be like a personal dig, but the other one, I would argue, is like fair, you know? Major video lagging. Is it Kick or is it me? Because I see the data on my end looks crazy, not good. But I don't know if Kick is having troubles right now or if it's me. I'll restart this for 1 second. His built-up tension of Stephen A constantly saying dumb shit about LeBron. Stephen A is like the retard commentator that doesn't really know basketball. He just likes drama. Okay. This is what he said that made LeBron mad.
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James.
Uh-oh.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father.
Oh, no.
Stop this.
Oh, no. Yeah. Ah, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, the Griffeys in attendance, father-son duo playing in an NBA game for the first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in. We love what we're seeing from him in the G League because that's where you belong. As you hone your skills and you get better and you legitimately earn, which I believe he has the potential to do. I am rooting for Bronny James. It would be cruel to root against him. He's a wonderful kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But he's LeBron James' son. And everybody knows what attention that brings. Molly, Doggy, put them up on the screen because I want to see their face when I say this. Right now, Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds. You know what people are saying. You know what they're going to do to this kid. You know what these numbers mean. You know what it's going to do to your son, to people who are missing out on opportunities, that are busting their tail on other NBA teams in the G League, in Europe, and everywhere else, what kind of opportunity they're starving for. You're exposing your son like this? I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way. I'm simply saying, to have that moment on game one of the NBA season is one thing. To propel it to a point where he's on the bench, he's in uniform, he's taking up a roster spot, and now you're giving him time in the first quarter, and you see the absence of production. How are you helping him? I just don't get it. I really don't see, I really don't get it. I really don't.
Okay. That might be a little bit too far. Or I can see where LeBron is irritated. He's farming him. True. He's trying to farm him. Is Smith wrong though? I mean, you just got to be really, really careful when you're making comments like "as a father," because now you're making it sound like he's not just making like a career wrong. It's like a fucking huge moral failing. Smith is purposely taking these stats out of context as a developing role player. Rookie Bronny only gets garbage time in the league right now, where he subs in for the last 3 minutes of a blowout game. You have to look at his G League stats, where he's regularly dropping 30. In the only game he got 30 minutes of playtime, he dropped 17 against the Bucks. Sure, I can't speak to what the average stats are or anything there, but I guess I'm extrapolating so much shit that I don't know about here. But my guess is going to be there's probably a lot of good players in the G League that have time to play and develop in that league and get better as a player before moving on to the next part. But if you rush somebody because people want him just because of the fame and attention he gets for being LeBron's son, and you throw him into a league before he's ready, he doesn't have the same time to develop. He's never going to become the player that he could have been. He's taking an opportunity and a spot away from other people. And I don't know how much of that is true because I don't know the stats. I don't know fuck all of it, but that would be the worry, I guess, right?
Just because I don't like you as a person doesn't mean I cannot appreciate your...
Like, if he is as good as whatever that chatter just said, like, if he is so good that he regularly drops 30 in crazy games or whatever, if that's true, then he'll get picked up without LeBron having to promote him, right? If anything, LeBron is auto-promoting him just by virtue of them both existing as the same family, right? LeBron doesn't have to promote him. The fact that he would my heuristic would be, wait, then it sounds like he's probably not ready. If LeBron has to go out and do promo for him, why? You don't think anybody already knows who this guy is? Like, you have to reiterate, by the way, my son, just so you know, by the way. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, hey, I don't know. Fuck. Ronnie is good in the G League, but some players flourish with sub-pro level competition and can't do fuck all against the pros. Most G League MVPs don't get any more than a season or two in the NBA. I don't know, that probably tracks, I guess, if that's true. I guess there's like, when it comes to pro gaming, for instance, there are players that perform really well on the ladder, like in terms of being able to queue games against randoms or with just one person, but you throw them into a professional environment and they can't hack it at all. But the reason is because the skill set that would allow you to dominate or crush these people are called ladder heroes, and ladder environments is not necessarily the same skill set that would help you perform well in a competitive environment. I don't know if basketball, G League, or whatever the fuck is the same, but even say it's noob stomping per se. It'll be so like the video game, like a video game comparison might be that probably in most games, like your mechanics, like how like your raw ability to target people and kill people and outmaneuver somebody can get you very, very far in a ladder game where you can mechanically dominate somebody. But in almost all games, even games with high mechanics thresholds, team play and communication and moving, not like maneuvering, like trying to corner toggle or whatever, peek somebody or some bullshit, but like actually moving as a team or your team, like stuff like this is way, way, way more important, or not more important, but it's just as important as the mechanical thing. So you can be you can have players sometimes on ladders that are mechanically superior to professional players, but they don't have the other aspects of the game that would allow them to compete at a professional level because they just don't have that skill set. They haven't developed it at all. So they'll be ladder heroes forever because they can't make the jump. Not that that's necessarily bad, I guess. I mean, if you're a streamer, you make money off ladder.
And so I'm actually going to go to break, but you're good, Stephen A?
I'm very good. Very good.
I'm glad you're very good.
Wow. Are you seeing the pay comments? No, I don't know anything about the pay stuff. Hello, I'm running for State House in Texas. Just had a question regarding messaging. I'm 22 years old. How would you advise someone as young as me to confront messaging about inexperience? Thank you. I don't know. We're literally in the era of anti-establishment, so just message like that. You don't want these guys here that are career politicians. That's your phrase. Career politicians. What is this?
AB is such a
AB. AB is was he the Palestinian guy on H3H3 that fought with Loner that one time? Is he Palestinian or am I mixing up H3H3 people?
Ugh. You said you'd pay for it last time we were talking about it.
Who said it?
Oh, Lebanese? Oh, never mind. Oh, Lebanese because he called Loner Box fake Lebanese or something, right?
AB is such a like AB is mad at me and he's mad at Hassan and he's mad at Denims because he's really mad at himself. And like, I get it. I wouldn't want to give up
The psychoanalysis.
my easy fucking job where I didn't have to do shit, was responsible for nothing. Like, I get it. Like me, I have my own show. This is something that AB doesn't understand. Like,
My own show, says the Hassan Orbiter.
I will live or die based on how I perform
Based on Hassan's stream.
and whether you guys support me or not. I'm completely responsible for myself. I have no safety net. I don't have a boss. I don't have a bunch of other people to take care of me. I'm 100%. I will rise or fall based on whether you guys support my channel or not. You could say I am a radical individualist, small business owner, successful under capitalism. AB isn't that kind of guy. Okay, AB he's a flunky, which is basically somebody who's hired to make somebody else feel important.
Jesus.
You know, he is the guy hired to listen to two virulent Zionists justify the genocide of Palestinians, and he has to sit there and take it.
Based.
He has to sit there and help. Now, I have a question for you, chat. If Mossad was looking at the fight between Ethan Klein and Hassan Abi, who do you think Mossad would side with? And I think that's pretty much, you're on the side.
I don't think these people realize, and I understand it's a white guy thing, it's a Western thing, more Western white person than anything else. I don't think you realize how popular, well, actually, fuck, I should say, maybe I need to see polling data on this. When I was in Israel, bro, in Israel, motherfuckers love Donald Trump. Holy shit. Like, people that have opinions like mine, people that have opinions like Ethan, we are not considered right-wing in Israel, okay? We are like the liberal cucks, actual cucks, especially when I was there and they were like, I think there were 4 hostages that had been freed and there were people marching and like, oh my God. Bro, opinions like Ethan or mine is not considered like a centrist opinion or even a pro-genocide opinion. You're like like the Zionist settler people, they fucking hate your ass. Oh my God, it's not even close, but whatever.
Of Mossad, AB. You're on the side of the IDF. I don't care what your personal opinions are. I'm talking about the work you do day in, day out for a living. You are, and this is no exaggeration, literally selling out your own people. That's sad. Me, personally, I couldn't do it.
Your own people.
I would rather move in with a family member and get a minimum wage job than a Rolex to fight for Mossad. I would literally rather, like, lose everything than be a little pissant defender of the genocide
The genocide.
And I'm just a white guy from Pennsylvania.
The genocide.
He was the head of the Arab Union at his school and had to fight Islamophobia. Now he helps produce it. Wild how the world turns.
Why?
That's capitalism, baby. If you're willing to sell it, capitalism will buy it.
Look at Mike.
And the fact that AB is participating in the stalking of Hassan, and I don't understand, and me as well, right? And the character assassination of me, the character assassination of Denims, the character assassination of Frogan, the character assassination of a bunch of other innocent people.
Mm-hmm. Really?
And here's the thing that really disgusts me. And this is the thing, and this is why I don't like him. And I'm going to be honest with him. If AB had just reached out and said, I can't do this anymore, but I need your help to make my own show, do you know how much love he would have gotten? Do you know how many people would have rushed to support him? Do you know how many people would have boosted him up and build him a show that probably would make him even more money than he's making now? But instead of doing that, he stuck his dagger at all of our backs. He stuck a dagger at our backs for the safe choice of remaining Ethan Klein's sidekick. Actually, he's not even the sidekick. He's like the sidekick of the sidekick. Really makes me sad, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, is it even viable? I mean, if AB tomorrow quit on stream and then apologized to everybody, including me, then maybe I'd change my mind. But, like, Israel has restarted their genocide. You have the Nelk boys coming on the show.
They restarted the genocide. They paused it and then started it again. They paused the genocide?
Joe, you're promoting pro-Trump people left and right. You're trying to help the targeting of Palestinian advocates all over the country. People are being kidnapped by ICE, who are lawful permanent residents, to be deported. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Not for nothing, but at times AB corrects the narrative when Ethan goes too hard for Israel, makes for some pushback in a large progressive audience. Does that count? No. No, it doesn't. Because when he's actually helping Ethan. Don't you understand that? When he prevents Ethan from saying something wholly wrong, he's actually protecting Ethan. Because if Ethan was out there saying lies and shit that was easily debunkable, it would make the show even more discreditable. He's protecting H3 to protect himself. And he lets a lot of other shit go. So the fact that he occasionally corrects one or two things, it doesn't matter. It's what side are you on? Are you on the side of the Palestinian people? Are you on the side of the people that are fighting for Palestinian liberation? Or are you on the side of the pro-genocide Zionists? And he's firmly on their side. Whether he likes that or not, that's the truth.
The truth. Damn. The truth.
Ugh.
I cannot believe the amount of stupidity and delusion in this 4-minute clip. Allow me to address some of the claims made by this person. One claim was that I'm mad at Hassan Denims and that I'm mad at Mike himself. Please provide me a single clip where I've said anything bad about Hassan or Denims, or provide me with a clip where I spoke negatively about Mike. It doesn't exist because I hardly know who the fuck Mike is. He defended me a few times on Twitter in the past, and I was appreciative that he spoke up for Palestine. Now, in retrospect, I see that he cares more about drama farming than actually helping the Palestinian people. He then claims that I am on the side of the IDF. I've said a million times that I believe the IDF is a terrorist organization. This person then has the nerve to tell me I am selling out my own people. Who the fuck you to say I'm selling out my own people? Is this? I wonder what it feels if you're like some Palestinian kid getting his like fucking leg blown off, you know, by an IDF tank, or if you're some fucking Israeli whose family member was abducted and raped and murdered by Hamas, and then you look at the West and you see that people like leverage this conflict for internet drama. Damn, must feel amazing. What is this? Hassan hints that his debate monster era could be coming back soon. Uh-oh, he's feeling the pressure. Oh no. Wait, coming back. When was his debate monster era last?
People mad at Hassan talking over Charlie when Charlie made a full career talking over college students. This is the real reason Charlie seeks to debate in college kids. His entire demeanor
Is Hassan having to go back to a debate? Is this a debate from 6 years ago? Or did they do a more recent one? 2018, 7 years ago?
passive and meek with Hassan. They were mad at Colin Kaepernick for disrespecting the flag, but then applaud the January 6th posse. Let's face it, sometimes protests don't have to be peaceful. Charlie Kirk is the worst. Guys, come on. Hassan isn't a 20-year-old college sophomore. This ain't fair for Charlie. Charlie meets an adult and starts losing debates. It's kind of crazy. Hassan put Charlie in his place. Lord forgive me. I'm about to go back to my old ways of being a debate monster, dude. This is when I was like a baby too. This is like 2015 or 2016 or something. Yeah, this is like 2016 or 2017, not 2015. Sorry.
8 years
this
old?
is woke bay. This is woke bay. Libs are libbed up, dude. Using Charlie's own tactics against him.
You know that like Hassan back then felt like he didn't do good in any of these debates. That's the whole reason why he approached me, was for help to learn debating, was because of these Charlie Kirk debates. But I guess he's trying to say now that he felt like he was dominating, I guess. Okay. Based.
Oh my God, I just realized this is almost 10 years ago, dude. But yeah, hella people love this. You look the same, skinny and young. Thank you. Your country needs you. Agent Woke Bay. Just one more job. Not anymore. We hate Obama. I mean, I wasn't a fan of Obama back then either. I just love the shirt. I think the shirt is awesome.
Oh my God. Seriously? Even back then it was all an aesthetic? Jesus. Oh, somebody linked me this. I thought this was funny. Tim Pool's conversation with Donald Trump.
Were president. You look at the October 7th
Several months ago.
attack on Israel. It would have never happened.
Why are I look at your policies, I see secure the borders, bring jobs
Right.
back. I look at the Democrats and many Republicans, and it's foreign war and foreign expansion.
That's right.
What is that?
I think it's just a failed mentality. It's crazy. You can solve problems over a telephone. Instead, they start dropping bombs. I see recently they're dropping bombs all over Yemen. You don't have to do that. You can talk in such a way where they respect you and they listen to you. Viktor Orban of Hungary, you know, the leader, they call him a strong man. Who cares if he's a strong man or not a strong man? He's a very
Wait, so
powerful
what happened
guy.
to that then?
He said the problem the world has is that Donald Trump is no longer president. When he was president, China didn't play around, Russia didn't play around, nobody played around, and we had no problems. Today, the whole world is on fire.
I heard that funny. There's a conversation.
So people don't respect Trump then, or crazy, huh? Okay. We started this last night, but we didn't finish it. Or we like got a minute into it. What happened with the Young Turks?
Recently, Francesca Fiorentini asked us at TYT to take her podcast, The Habituation Room, off the network. And we happily agreed to that. And today, I'm going a little further.
Link to that Tim Pool video.
I'm Hannah Claire Brimwell. I'm a writer.
Here you go. It's at like 7 minutes in this video. Or 7:15, I think.
And I'm going to take Francesca off the network entirely. So you won't see her on any of the TYT shows going forward. So I want you guys to know why I'm doing that and how this whole situation isn't really about Francesca. It's about TYT, our community, and what we stand for. And so we're for open minds and open hearts. And so I want all of you to know that, and I want to build a community that believes in that and invites people in that believe in the same things. And by the way, if you don't believe in the same things and you say, no, I have a strict ideology and I have no open mind about that, no problem. There are tons of shows out there for you guys. So first of all, we've had some disagreements, I certainly have, with some of the far left, but I think they've been relatively small. But if you think that they've been large, no problem. So they've been around the issue of crime. Did crime rise between 2019 and 2023? Well, that's a fact, it did. But it's 2023, well, that's a fact, it did. Did crime rise between 2019 and 2023? Well,
Damn, 2019 and 2023. Okay, jeez, man, those COVID years. I imagine, was crime at an all-time low during the lockdown stuff because people were just inside, or was crime spiking? I feel like it's all been pretty low since like the 90s at least, but I mean, that's like peak, so I don't know if that's fair to compare, but.
That's a fact, it did. But it's okay, we could have different interpretations of it, that's not an issue at all. We certainly are against police abuse and we've fought against it, I would argue, at least as much as any show on the planet and perhaps a lot more. And I take great pride that Benjamin Crump, among others, said that Trayvon Martin would not have gotten anywhere near the national coverage that he did if it wasn't for the Young Turks. networks. So nevertheless, we could have disagreements about specific policy issues, and we do on slogans and framing, et cetera. For example, defund the police, Latinx. These are normal disagreements within any community. And I certainly would never want to shut that down because we're, again, for open minds. And of course, we've had some disagreements on the issue of transgender rights. Let me just say quickly what my position is, because a lot of people outside of the network have been misleading you about this. So I'm for 100% constitutional rights for transgender Americans because why? They're Americans, just like the rest of us, and they should have the same exact rights as us. They should be protected in bathrooms. They should definitely be allowed to serve in the military. And I happen to think that they should be allowed to play, transgender girls should be allowed to play in girls' sports in high school. Now, my position on that is not overall popular in the country. I understand that, and I have a strategy for hopefully how to win on that in the long run. But I don't believe that they should be mandated to play in college and professional level. I think the leagues should get to make those decisions on their own. I think that that is a small disagreement. Obviously, others think that's a giant disagreement, but that's, again, not the issue here. I think what the issue is when others, among the issues, is when others say, only my opinion is the correct one, the moral one. Everyone who disagrees with me is unintelligent, immoral, collaborator, etc. Well, we'll get to the specifics on Francesca in a second. I'm saying that generally. And that they speak for the left. Well, let's find out if they do speak for the left. This is a little bit of Francesca, a little bit of Emma Vigeland from Majority Report, and spliced in is the actual facts about what the American people think, and interestingly, what Democratic voters think. First, let's watch this.
I'm a big Messi fan, but let me just explain this.
Answer my question. Would you allow him, if he said I'm a woman, to play in the American women's national team?
Yes, right now. Hell yeah, are you kidding me?
Transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports.
Your argument is really bad on this, and you're out of your depth. You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100%.
I've seen this Emma clip. Oh God, guys, just stop taking the bait. Please stop taking the bait on this.
You're correct that trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, but your argument for it is just scientifically and factually incorrect. I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a
And I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything.
Because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop.
Like, when you say this, you're giving the worst version of what Jordan Peterson and the other lunatic fucks are accusing you of. When you say things like the societal interest, my view of society trumps any sort of logic or reason or rationality, like that's verbatim, you're just saying it. Exactly. This is the worst accusation, the strongest form of an accusation that people like Peterson are making. You're just owning it. You're just like saying it openly. Like, it's so, Jesus Christ, don't.
Stop. So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
You'd let Lionel Messi play in the women's national football team and destroy women's football forever. You'd let Usain Bolt.
It'd be very difficult to get a ticket, which would suck.
I want to do a little checklist here. You'd let Usain Bolt compete as a sprinter in the American women's Olympic team?
Yes.
Okay. You would let Floyd Mayweather compete as a boxer in the women's American boxing team?
Opposing them in women's sports. You get 67% of Democrats, so 2/3 there. You get 64% of independents, so you get about 2/3 there.
So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
Okay, generally speaking, if you want to say that you're right about something, sure, everybody has their own opinions, and it's their opinions. That's why they think that they're right. It's another thing to say that you speak for the left. As you just saw there, 67% of Democrats have a position that is actually to the right of mine. I say that trans girls should be allowed to play in girls' sports in high school. 67% of Democrats say no, not allowed in any women's sports. So I'll work on my Democratic brothers and sisters, and I'll try to get them to my position on that. Nothing wrong with disagreements. And if Emma, Francesca, and others can convince 79% of the nation that is opposed to that to come over to that side, fantastic, happy to have it, okay? So I think where the issue comes in is when things get personal. So we got 3 rules, generally speaking, on air here at TYT that are relatively bright lines. So one is, and I say relative, I'll explain that in a second. One is no lying, 2 is no threats of physical violence. And number 3 is don't denigrate personally the other hosts in the network over and over and over again. And I say relatively bright lines because they should be relatively easy to follow, but I get that people have disagreements about, hey, what's a lie? Are what they say about crime stats a lie or not? No, I'm not gonna nitpick that. And we get into heated debates from time to time, me and Ben Glebe in the past, me, Ben Mankiewicz, me, Michael Shore, et cetera. And I love those debates. And somebody might cross the line and say something they shouldn't know, but we usually hug it out. And so I'm not nitpicking here. What we're looking for is, hey, are we all rowing generally in the same direction, or are some of us drilling holes in the boat? And so are you doing it over and over again on purpose to try to create an issue, or even if you're not trying to do it, you are creating an issue by constantly attacking our own. And I have applied this 2 other times, which I'll tell you about in a minute. This all started, unfortunately, when I went on Francesca's show, and we had what seemed like a normal conversation and debate about this issue until it made a turn. And this is part of the turn. Let me show you.
I'm reminded of the book by I think his name is Michael Schneider on tyranny, and he wrote it's like 20 lessons from the 20th century about authoritarianism and fascism. And one of the things that has come to mind when you say my strategy will protect us is he has this chapter, I'm gonna bring it up, the first part of it, called "Do Not Obey in Advance," and he writes, most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. In other words, you don't have to do the sort of crackdown on the left around speech because I'm going to do it for you, or you don't have to come to me.
Down. Again, you're misstating it. I'm doing the exact opposite. You're cracking down by saying, Cenk, you're out of bounds, so you should stop your stupid opinion. And because you're implicating me.
I can't believe that a guy who I used to admire and who I thought had a lot of fight is trying to scratch the back of people who absolutely would never do the same for them.
So we just spent an hour and a half me explaining how I'm not scratching their back. I'm trying to get
but I can show you more clips,
to agree with us on things we believe in, and we've always believed it. And you go back to scratching their back.
At least the trains will run on time.
The train's running on time, presumably a reference to Germany. I'm the collaborator, and I'm scratching the right wing's back by having my opinion. The opinion I've always had, an opinion I've had for years.
Wait, I don't know. I thought that was the trains running on time. I thought that was a Mussolini meme. It might have been a German meme too. I don't know. Oh, Italy. Okay. To be fair, Nazism adopted a lot of stuff from Mussolini, but.
And you guys have seen for years on the show. But if you don't agree with Francesca in that particular case and some other folks in the extreme left, well, you're not allowed to have that opinion. That is immoral by definition. And how dare you disagree with them? That makes you a right winger, a collaborator, et cetera. But if you say, hey, Cenk, look, I know that she's quoting someone, collaborating with an authoritarian government and saying that that's what you're doing and you're helping the right wing, and that she's not open to the idea of, hey, maybe there's a different strategy and a different opinion on this, that gets us to the same result, protecting trans folks or whichever topic we're talking about. Okay, if you're not. And at that point, I certainly hadn't done anything. I think that was, I didn't appreciate that, but that's okay. We kept going, and she's been on the network since. Then she started to do more and more and more, and it got more.
Is Francesca a Russian operative to stir shit, or is she actually retired? I don't think she's retired. She's just very, very, very far left. She's significant. I think she might be like a full-on socialist, right? Maybe. My opinion of her is probably better than it should be, just because we're usually on the same side on peers, but.
More and more personal. So after that discussion, this happened.
I like that we can both be very Mediterranean about it and get super mad, but then rein it in and be cool and then be yeah, we're just gonna yell and then we're gonna be fine and then we're gonna get over it. So that's the kind of beer I like to have.
Yes, thank you.
2 days later.
I mean, I have my own thoughts on why he's doing it. I think, if you think your brain was broken by the 2024 election, I think we're looking at a case where someone's brain was broken even harder.
Okay, but look, guys, if she had said that about another host, I probably would have drawn the line there. But it's about me, so I wanted to give more leeway. My brain is broken. And by the way, that's still, okay, the first time she's getting super personal. Collaborator, maybe that's a political opinion. Now we're a broken brain, even though we were supposed to have a beer and we were supposed to hash it out and be okay afterwards, but apparently not okay afterwards. But then that was the tip of the iceberg. She continued again and again. Here's the next one.
I do think it's sad that even though they allow people like us into the fold and the fray, they refuse to learn from us or listen to us.
You got a chance, can you check out my dono? Sure, yeah, I've got it open.
And I think that when you have been doing this work for so long and you still cannot grasp the idea of intersectionality, how race and gender and class all intertwine with one another, and how the fascist goal is.
I don't like this. I feel like I might be out of my depth saying this because maybe these people do it differently, but my very layman, and it's bad that I have a layman's understanding of this because intersectionality is all sort of I think part of critical analysis, and there's actual academics that have opinions on this, although listening to them speak, it doesn't sound any better. But intersectionality, my understanding, is supposed to be, it's an analysis of how different types of, not classes, different types of things can come together to determine how a person deals with stuff in society. And you would imagine that intersectionality is a good way to view things because it can get you to a place where you can say, being white in and of itself might not lend you a massive advantage, right? Depending on where you live, things like your socioeconomic class, things like your health status, things like your family member, like other things in life in an intersectional manner might come together to fuck you over more in a way that the white privilege might be invisible to you, even if you were really looking for it, which I think is good, right? It's an intersectional way of viewing things. But I feel like the very vibe-based feeling I get whenever somebody brings up intersectionality is, oh, intersectionality. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to analyze every single part of my life so you can find the one thing that gives you a reason to discredit every single thing I'm saying. So if they're black, but they're conservative, oh, you can disregard everything. They are, LGBT, oh, but they're white, disregard everything. Oh, they're maybe even of Arab or Palestinian background. Oh, but they're American and they have a opinion, so disregard everything, right? I feel like intersectionality was supposed to be a more nuanced way of viewing how different characteristics of a person can come together to, I guess, to give you a way to analyze things they might face in society. And it ended up just becoming like the ultimate weapon of pick one reason why you can ignore every single thing a person says because they're part of an oppressive class or whatever. And it's like, okay, cringe. Yeah, I don't know. That's the feeling I get for it, but.
Is to divide us based on these lines. Like, I don't know like who you are. Like, I don't even know if you're smart. You know what I mean? I don't even know. First of all, I don't know who your political mentors are. I don't know who you look up to. I don't know what your touchstones are. I don't know if you know your history in terms of like.
Do you disagree with what she said about Cenk sucking up to the right? I feel like Cenk and Anna have a lot, but not because of their trans takes, but just because I think that whatever strategy they were embarking on, I just thought was ridiculous. I don't know where they're at right now with all that.
Like civil rights, women's rights, gay rights struggle in this country. I don't know anything. I call into question all of that. It sounds like you are just an opportunistic mouthpiece who wants clicks time and time again.
Okay, so obviously it's getting deeply personal there. Opportunistic mouthpiece, can't grasp simple concepts, not smart. But guys, and I'm not angry. Look, people have different opinions and they want to make it personal. It is what it is, right? I'm more sad about it. I'll say something at the end about that. But to me, the attitude that is toxic, and that's what I don't want at TYT. I want to build a community that is really open to conversations. Is they refuse to learn from us. So the idea is, well, obviously I'm right and the only moral center of the universe, and I already told him that, and this guy wouldn't even learn from me.
Ooh, that's very interesting for Cenk to say that because that's exactly my view of progressives, including Cenk, because I feel like the progressive message is always, listen, progressives have the right answer on fucking everything. People just haven't had it said to them enough. But like if people can just be preached to about the benefits of single payer healthcare, of whatever infinite union power, I don't know, whatever fucking progressives are saying this is, if they can just hear it over and over again, eventually they'll learn that this is what they actually like. It's not about adapting the message, it's about converting the listener, is what progressivism seems so often to be about. But
it's just such a deeply arrogant thought.
I agree.
That if someone disagrees with you, they need to be re-educated.
I agree.
And maybe they haven't read any books at all. Okay, did she stop there? Of course not.
And yes, as I told Cenk, I do feel very implicated. I have felt implicated by their takes, specifically around crime and policing in years past.
Like crime and policing are probably some of the takes where the Young Turks, where Cenk and Anna are more correct now, because the left gets just way too unhinged. I think even, right, I think Ezra Miller was talking, or not Ezra Miller, Ezra Klein was talking about this, where it's okay to say, like, this is, it's so crazy. You should try this. If somebody's in a college campus and they want to get expelled or whatever the fuck. No, you wouldn't get expelled. But like, it feels like getting a progressive to say, this sounds so stupid. It sounds like I'm being hyperbolic, but I don't think I am. Getting a progressive to say, it's bad to commit crime, right? That's a bad thing, right? Like, it would be like pulling teeth to get somebody to admit that. Crime is bad, right? Like, we should try to get rid of crime, right? That's a bad thing, right? Because the amount of excuse making and just the unwillingness to, I don't know, to own that position, as stupid as it seems, it just seems really, really, really wacky.
Definitely by this new heel turn since...
Where I think I watched this off stream and I didn't bother showing off stream, but there was I was watching some Instagram, or it might have been a TikTok thing, where some girl was talking about how she was confused and she didn't know what to do because she felt unsafe because of some recent thing that had happened in her neighborhood, and she didn't know what she could do because she didn't want to call the police because she's worried that the police might be racist against the guy that was harassing her. Like, these types of takes are delusional. This has to stop. You can't. This is retarded. I'm so sorry. There's no other way to describe it. Like that's just retarded. Stop.
Trump's reelection, and absolutely by the misrepresentation of the Los Angeles fires and who the responsibility lies on. It is enraging, to say the least.
The Los Angeles fires are not the responsibility of the mayor. They're apparently the responsibility of Republicans. I don't know. I don't know what her thought on that is, and I don't know why she's enraged by that, but that's okay. Apparently, I've taken a heel turn. By the way, all those folks, not just Francesca, but others that told you were right-wing, you watch the show every single day, you see us criticizing Trump and Elon Musk over and over and over and over again, telling you how they're going to do a $4.5 trillion robbery in those tax cuts. Yesterday, we talked about how they're already, hammering Social Security and costing good Americans, what they need from Social Security, how they're going to cut $800 billion from Medicaid, how there's a series of robberies on the way, et cetera. But it's okay, let's just simplify things and say anyone who disagrees with us a little bit is a right-winger. But the good news is, at least Francesca will not be implicated anymore. And I never understood that because she's been saying this for a long time now, that she was implicated.
Are you sure that wasn't rage bait? That sounds too stupid to be real. I mean, I think we've heard Hassan give a take similar to that, no? That you shouldn't. No, we have. I argued with him about that because I think I argued with Hassan about, that might have come up in my Kamala Harris debate with him like 6 years ago. Because I asked him, like, if you were a girl and you thought you were going to get raped by some black guy, are you okay to call the cops? I think that was the example I gave, right? And Hassan's answer was just, well, I wouldn't call the cops. And it's like, bro, are you serious right now? I'm not what the fuck? That's not at all what I'm asking. It did happen during the debate, yeah. It was just, it's like, hello? And then the shoplifting takes too, yeah. Where Hassan, they were talking about, I think cops set up some bait truck of like Nikes or something, and a whole bunch of people came up and started robbing shit out of the back of the truck. And Hassan was like, yeah, they'll show you, white supremacists will show you this, but what they won't show you is how these guys take these products back to the neighborhood and redistribute them to everybody on the block. And it's like, bro, oh my God, stop.
Will not be implicated anymore. And I never understood that because she's been saying this for a long time now, that she was implicated by us. Then why keep taking a check? And it's not a big check. And Francesca has had, a career before us. She talks about that. Of course she did. And she'll have a career after us. There's no problem with that. So why, if you think we're collaborators and we've taken a heel turn and we're working with fascists, why did you choose to get implicated with us all these days? But good news, no longer implicated. Believe it or not, she did not stop there. This is now another show. Watch.
Uh-oh.
So Cenk's line up until this point has been, no, it's at the collegiate level and above. I think once you get to the college level and above, that's when it's bad. So he would be on board with what the NCAA said recently. But you're so dumb. You're so dumb. I don't even know how to explain it to you anymore. Unless, this is the other option, unless you also are a transphobe. You know what I'm saying? Unless you also are kind of a misogynist.
What?
Because if you disagree with Francesca or anyone on that part of the spectrum, well, you must be a misogynist. You must be collaborating with the fascists. And obviously, you must be unintelligent. Now, if I had called her dumb, I wonder what her reaction would have been. My guess is nuclear. But I didn't call her that because we have a disagreement. We have a political disagreement. You don't need to make it personal. Not done yet. One last one.
What has it got you? What did it get you? When you go and share a stage with Dr. Phil, what did it get you? Nothing. You know why? Because you look like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? You look like a bitch. That's what it is. Like, that's just what it comes down to. You don't look like a fighter. You don't look smart. You look like a bitch. That's just the reality. I've tried to tell it to you nicely. I've tried to tell it to you cordially. I've tried to tell it to you on your show, on my show, on every show. And so either you A, are a bitch, or B, you actually agree with the right. And I'm starting to think, in fact, I do think it's the latter.
Okay, so again, if I had called her that would have been a different.
Wait, hold on. Timestamp for my Hassan debate 6 or 7 years ago.
Process for that. Let's say that we have two people that are standing outside. They legitimately make me nervous. I don't know if they're going to rob my house or whatever. And I call the cops. Let's say that the cops show up. They arrest these two people for loitering or being threatening or whatever. And then they find out that they're illegal immigrants and they refer them to ICE and they get deported. Am I, as a homeowner, like the person that reported them, am I now complicit in deporting illegal immigrants? Is that on me? Do I have that liability?
Yes.
Okay. So should people just never ever call the cops ever then?
Yeah, I suggest against that. Yes.
Okay. I mean, we just have a totally fundamental view of this, I guess. Then.
Yeah. But to some extent, for certainly, that is.
No, not to some extent. We are completely diametrically opposed to this issue.
I guess we are.
I guess like when I started the video off, it sounded like it feels like there was like a huge.
It's kind of shocking that this analogy that you're using is like, I mean, you're not in any way associated with the fucking random strangers that are standing outside of your house, Steven. Whereas as a fucking school, you are absolutely associated.
No. I was just
to educate these kids.
No, I was just asking if you were complicit.
So you have a better understanding of maybe we shouldn't fucking cooperate with the authorities. So we are technically complicit. It is a terrible analogy that you just used, and it is a rather reactionary one, which I don't even think you agree with.
It's not a reactionary one, okay? It's a totally valid question. Let's say that a woman gets raped by somebody that's Hispanic. Do you think that when she reports it to the cops, is she being complicit now and getting people deported?
Of course not.
Wait, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not?
Because she's victimized by a fucking crime. It's not a random misdemeanor of a student. Like she's being victimized by a fucking crime by a stranger or even someone that she knows.
Sure, okay. So let's say that. Sure. So
a resource officer being like, "Oh, I just saw you fucking steal. Sorry. Guess you're out of here, buddy."
Sure.
And
so let's say that
14-year-olds out of this country.
Sure. So let's say that a woman is at a party. She starts walking home and she's being followed by some people and she's getting nervous. She doesn't know if she's going to be assaulted or what. Let's say that she calls the cops there. Cops arrest the two guys and they get reported to ICE because they're illegal immigrants. Did that woman, is she playing a part then in calling the cops and getting illegals deported? Should she not have done that?
This is hurting my brain, dude.
It's hurting your brain because you're saying
it's hurting his brain because his position is obviously ridiculous and completely untenable. I'm just asking hypotheticals. I'm trying to gauge like what is the actual underlying value here that you're appealing to, like because it sounded like from the first thing that he said, but I think we were still friends here, so I don't want to assume like the absolute dumbest possible position. But it almost sounds like his position is if they're brown, you can never call the cops on them ever. That's what it sounded to me like his position was. So I'm asking questions to figure out, like, okay, well, when can you call the cops? It's just so stupid.
Because a random stranger walking and feeling threatened by random people is entirely fucking different than, like I said, a school participating in this thing that they know they shouldn't be participating in.
I'm only asking this because you said
they fucking possibly can.
You said to never call the cops. So I'm asking you if you really feel that way. You said you should never call the cops. So it sounds like you don't actually feel that way.
Wowie.
Okay. You, in the comfort of your own home, calling police officers because you saw some random people that scared you.
Notice how then we have to pivot to a thing where, I don't know if I'll bring that up, but now we're pivoting to a thing that has nothing to do with illegal immigrants or not. You probably shouldn't call the cops because calling the cops on random people is stupid, right? So now he's making it so ridiculous.
Is a little different than a woman walking home at night or a man walking home at night.
Notice how he changed it to like a man or woman. I want to wait. Why did he change it there? Because he didn't want to do the rape analogy? Because you would have to call the cops? Wait, I'm curious.
Alone and feeling threatened by the presence of other people. They would still be somewhat complicit, but it's not it's not the same.
Okay.
In that, under that circumstance.
So that's
call the cops.
So there are two things. Sure. So there are two.
I probably wouldn't. He said
do that as well, but it's more understandable, and it doesn't really matter because under none of these circumstances do you have an obligation to the person that you're fucking calling the cops on.
Okay.
I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
You're giving me like one of the most privileged arguments I've ever heard in my entire life.
Don't call the cops if they're black or brown. Like, it's so ridiculous.
You're literally telling me, like, well, if you're a woman and you're walking down the street and you might be scared because of people following you, it's pretty rude of you to call the cops. That's a pretty mean thing to do, dude. Don't do that. What if you've got a person who lives in a neighborhood where there have been a lot of break-ins? What if it's somebody who's had their house broken into before and are worried that somebody's going to do it? Like, it's easy for you to say, like, oh, well, you should never, ever call the cops, ever. I don't know if you've been in these situations or if you know people that have been in these situations, but that's a pretty shitty thing to say to people that, like, maybe are actually fearing for stuff like that. Like, I feel like it's really crazy to be like, oh, you should just never, ever call the cops, ever.
Why the fuck would you say it's a privileged argument?
Because you're making it because it's a really privileged argument. This idea that, like,
ask the fucking people that live in poor neighborhoods if they choose to call the cops under these circumstances or.
Yes, they do, by the way. But okay, that was a wild. Do you think poor people call the cops ever?
Not okay. Like, what are you talking about? It's a privileged argument. If you talk to a person who lives in a fucking poor neighborhood, I'm confused. Like, right now, like, what?
Like, not to appeal to TV shows, but like, have you seen the show Cops? You think they're going to West Hollywood all the time, my friend? Like, what?
Okay.
What?
So you legitimately think then you should never call the cops. So then going back to the earlier thing then, a woman gets raped, she shouldn't call the
Under most
cops?
circumstances, yes. I don't believe that. Yeah.
That's a wild
Okay, so let's say two people break into your backyard and they're going through your shed. Should you call the cops then, or is it just your shed, so it doesn't matter? You shouldn't call the cops.
No, if they're breaking into your, I guess if they're breaking in, it's different. Yeah. Again, different circumstances where a random person, not a fucking institution that was previously urged and understands what kind of responsibility they have for the children that they're educating. So, yeah, I know that you're trying to narrow this as best as possible to figure out if I'm like morally consistent and if I will abide by my principles. And I guess it like shocks you a little bit. But one, it's kind of weird that you said that it was a privileged perspective that I have when most people that don't.
Okay, Jesus.
Different situation, right? But look, guys, also on the policy or the strategy, when you go talk to the right wingers, first we did that, and I mainly did that, and there was a lot of blowback saying, don't ever talk to the right wing, but they won the popular vote. How are we gonna win back the voters if we never talk to them? If we don't win them back, we can't ever win an election. And that doesn't mean the far end of MAGA, it means independents that voted for Trump, and maybe some right wing populists that voted for Trump. Now I've noticed that faction is now saying, well, I mean, of course we should talk to the right, but we should only yell at them, or we should only accost them. That seems like a really productive conversation. And if now I guarantee you they'll say, no, I don't mean just yell at them, but just like build coalitions, as Francesca said recently. Apparently she's changed her mind about being a collaborator, but not with Trump voters. Well, who would it be if it wasn't Trump voters? Those are the folks on the edge of the middle of the spectrum where that we got to bring to our side. We've got to convince them that the populist left is right. Not necessarily a populist right, or parts where we agree, hey, great, let's work together on that. So who are we building coalitions with if it isn't the other side, or people who voted in the other direction? And if we talk to them, what are we doing? Only screaming fascists in their face? Or are we having a human conversation? So look, this is not an attitude that I agree with. Again, there are other shows that love what she's saying. And no problem, to each his own, it's a free country. Go and love that and yell and scream and do all the things that you want to do. But do you think that after you do a joint appearance with Dr. Phil or anyone else, that the very next day all of MAGA is going to show up and go, oh, I changed my mind? You're absolutely right. No, this is a gradual process where Americans begin to talk to one another and start to learn about each other and start, oh, that's what you mean. Oh, that's how you perceived it. And we begin to have human conversations until we understand each other. Again, if you don't want to understand them and you don't want to do that, plenty of other shows. So she said, I tried to tell him nicely. Did you? Did you? Because I might have missed that part. All right, guys, you get it by now. Look, there's two other times that I enforced this rule. One was when Sam Cedar was doing it to Jimmy Dore. They were both in the network. Sam's show was not only in the network as part of our YouTube partner group, and that's what we were doing early on. And I was happy and thrilled with all the folks that were in it before. And then we stopped doing that since then. So God bless, no problem with that. And in terms of Sam and others leaving at that point, at different points from that network we were trying to set up. But while they were in the network, I said, Sam, you can disagree with Jimmy all you want. And in fact, I agree with you on the policy you're criticizing him on. But stop doing personal insults. You're doing like personal insult after personal insult. So I talked to him about that. He wouldn't agree. He loved the personal insults. He wanted to keep going. And apparently that's a thing that he does like. And that's what he likes to do every time, apparently. And so
has their channel suffered or gained from their MAGA pivot? I think their channel has like, I don't know why I started the sentence off like that. I have no idea. I haven't checked their metrics at all. But I don't think that this is like just a grift insofar as they're only doing it for popularity. Like, I think to some extent you have issues here with these guys where they also are not like staunch defenders of the concept of liberalism, right? They are also kind of socialist leaning-ish. I'm not sure if they're full on socialist or not, but if your talking points over and over again have just been lobbyists and billionaires own all of society and democracy's rigged and corrupt and healthcare companies exist literally just to like watch us die in the street, et cetera. Like if this has been your position, for years, it's not really surprising that you would fall into these like kind of MAGA populist traps because your view on everything is also insanely one-dimensional and that's how you just see society. So, yeah.
So, okay, that's Sam, but we did enforce it before. And then ironically, the second time we enforced it was against Jimmy Dore when he was doing it to Francesca. And he'd called her an effing liar. And he'd called her, and he said that she was a paid shill, which is a classic go-to move for Jimmy. Although he misspelled it paid chill, which sounds pretty nice. And I said, Jimmy, you can't do that. Ironically, he's the only one who actually apologized and said, I won't do it again. And he apologized to Francesca. Francesca apparently thought, great, I'm allowed to do this, but no one's allowed to do it to me. Anyway, you guys get it. So I don't, like I said, I want everybody rowing in the same direction because we're trying to build something here. And why do we want to build something? Because we want our movement to be strong. We want to message to get out there. We want to win.
Something that I'm noticing, I'm probably going to give this disclaimer a billion more times. It's very easy to compare different political movements to anything if you want. Like, we can find similarities between Hitler and the Republicans and the Democrats and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and Donald Trump and whoever you want. So just when I make comparisons, I'm not trying to say like, oh, they're just like Hitler. One thing that I thought was interesting when the Nazis talked about noticing that farmers, that people in rural areas could be receptive to their messaging, and so they kind of like angled there. I see a lot of similarities between that messaging and kind of what Charlie Kirk was saying about how we notice that there are certain demographics that are receptive to our messaging, or rather, we change our messaging to fit certain demographics. I don't know if the Democrats do that. I feel like we don't adapt very well to different environments. I feel like conservatives adapt really well. The Nazis, obviously, for gaining the support they did, adapted when they needed to. I don't know why it feels like there's like this monolith culture of Democrat messaging when the voter base is so diverse. It's so crazy to me. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird to me. I'm not sure. I don't know why this happens.
Over those voters, because at the bottom line in all of this is eyes on the prize. You've heard me say that year after year after year. What's the prize? The prize, by the way, note to other online hosts, is not more subscribers. The prize is passing bills, because those are the only things that affect our voters, our audiences, their actual lives. Let's pass paid family leave. Let's pass Medicare for all, higher wages, etc. And I hope wherever you are on the left-wing spectrum or the middle or wherever you are, I hope that you agree. And I hope that we all work together in trying to pass those bills. So please, eyes on the prize. And so look, I'm going to show you two charts here for a reason. So Media Matters did this chart recently. You guys, some of you might have seen it on air. And it has the right-wing shows online in red, and it has the left-wing.
But the shocking bit is how far apart Nazis and socialists are, yet they were still able to appeal to them, no? Kind of, but not on like ideological grounds. That was another thing that Evans is pointing out in this book. It's not like all these early converts of Nazis were like readers of, this guy keeps getting cited over and over again. Is it Stuart Chamberlain? Apparently was a big Nazi author that a lot of the higher up Nazi people were influenced by. But it's not like these guys are ideologically bought into the ideology of Nazism. A lot of them were just really violent people. A lot of them were drawn in who, felt fucked over basically after the war. Like, they're people that had certain lifestyles that were radicals or extremists or hated the Weimar Republic, and then they kind of got drawn in, and it was like a way to channel that. It wasn't a bunch of people sitting down, in libraries and studying and going, oh my goodness. Like, conceptually, I definitely I align with Nazi ideology so much. Like, I'm vibing with this so much, I'm gonna go join them, And that's what the average voter is like, a Nazi. No, I'm just kidding. The average voter, again, for as much as we see all this abhorrent stuff with Trump, the average voter is not thinking, Donald Trump's usurpation of the judiciary and his flagrant disrespect for the law and checks and balances, I don't really care about that. The average voter just sees like price go up, price go down, meme on the TV, meme on Joe Rogan, and that's it,
Shows online in blue, okay? What we did there, and I hope you can see it, is we put a little bit of a green circle around the TYT show. So the Young Turks is right next to Rogan. We got 12 million subscribers, one of the largest ones in the whole chart. But Rebel Headquarters is also on there. Damage Report is on there. Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie's on there. And when you put them together, that's 18.8 million. And it is one of the largest presence in online media, period.
Houston Stuart Chamberlain. There you go.
Period. If you include our alumni, people that have been in part of the TYT network in one way or another throughout the years, then we're at 30.1 million subscribers with the way that Media Matters does it. Today, actually, when you include all the platforms that we're on, some of which Media Matters did not count, we have 27 million subscribers. Now, why do I tell you that? Because guys, we're trying to build something. Fox News has dominated discourse in this country for at least 20 years.
What if the overtaking of the judiciary is phrased as the meme, though? Well, no, so that's your goal. You have to figure out how to message it. That's why I keep saying messaging is more important. And I think everybody's getting to that point, like agreeing that yes, messaging is more important. They're just saying it in different ways. But yeah, the messaging is so much more important. And there is some legitimate policy improvement that can be made, but.
Almost 30 now. And it made an enormous difference, and I think for the worse, for the much, much worse. We're trying to build a network that makes a difference for the better. But by the way, you don't have to agree with us, and you don't have to say, oh, well, okay, then great, and we should help you and support you. No, you don't have to do that. Build something of your own. Instead of being destructive over and over and over again, how about you be constructive? and you say, hey, Cenk, I don't like the way you guys are doing the TYT network, and I see that you've had this huge success, and you've given rise to other progressives that are now having success. And it seems like you helped to build something for our side. Well, you know what, though? These days, I don't agree with you. So I'm going to build something larger.
Destiny gets more views than TYT. LOL subscribers don't matter. That's definitely not true right now. But no, that's not even true in general. The Young Turks post a ton of videos. It's still a very big channel in terms of monthly views.
Guess what? I would love that. And whether you build something larger or not, you built, let's say you, instead of building a media company or a media show, you built a platform that actually got Democrats elected, but progressive populist Democrats like Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, et cetera. And then they got those bills passed. Oh my God, I would love you for it. Please do that. Build something positive. And that's what we're trying to do here, okay? So, and I don't say this just for Francesca, and the reason I'm doing this segment isn't just for her or to explain what's going on, but I do want to be clear with you. It's mainly to tell you what we stand for. Not just the media end of it, not just the host, but as a community. Do
you think the left needs to whistleblow more like Republicans? They try to cut social programs, dressing it up under financial responsibility, and try to fire anyone for being DEI as a slur. Why don't we bring up stuff like social programs as an investment in our people, like dress up trans rights under human rights without ever mentioning them? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. It's like there's like a ground up approach to building like a leftist, like a successful, I need to not say leftist, to build up like a successful messenger for the Democrats. The start, your foundation, arguably the most important part, has to be, I don't know how to say this, but like you just can't be soy, right? Like I'm not soy. So I can message, I have a lot more flexibility in my messaging. Stephen A. Smith is not soy. AOC is not soy. Bernie Sanders is not soy. These are people who lack the soy characteristic. If you come off as soy, it really doesn't matter what you message. No one's going to give a fuck, even if you're saying the most correct shit in the world. Whereas if you're not soy, if you are, I don't know, whatever the hard to quantify charismatic or can carry a message thing is, as long as you're not soy, you have a lot more flexibility in messaging. Once you have a figure who's not soy, the way that they message on their policies needs to be positive. It always needs to be positively framed. We don't do DEI or we don't do fucking transports or whatever the fuck else. I don't know, minimum wage or whatever things we do. We shouldn't do those as a way to punish people or to make you feel bad about stuff. It's because it unlocks more opportunity for the country, for individuals, for whatever stuff like that. Like the messaging needs to be way more positive. Yeah.
All have to be open-minded and open-hearted enough.
Is the Gary economics guy soy? No, I don't like him, but I like his messaging style, his communication style is obviously effective. I mean, you can see the fact that he's built anybody that's thriving in the like quote unquote influencer space is probably good when it comes to messaging. They figured out some way to connect to an audience, and for some reason people listen to them and like them.
Media end of it, not just the host, but as a community, we all have to be open-minded and open-hearted enough to get these things done and push forward. So, look, last thing is, I wish Francesca well. I mean, she said those things, and I get it. We've got bad feelings these days, but all the power to her, okay? If she can convince the country to be on her side on all these issues, even the ones we disagree on, terrific. Go do it.
Bernie getting the mic taken from him was kind of sweet. That was really cringe. He shouldn't have allowed that. But Bernie's a good speaker. He's a good messenger.
Try that. Try to make that happen. And no problem, happy to have it. Like she said, good career before. I'm sure she will afterwards. You can go check her out wherever she is. So I don't have hard feelings. I'm not angry. I'm just done with it. I want a positive atmosphere here where we fight for you guys. And we do that in all different ways. So if some hosts have a different idea on how to do it, great, let's have that.
Isn't he carried by the message, not by his performance? He's just piggybacking on the evil rich people hype train or not. The message helps, but no, Bernie Sanders is a good communicator and a good speaker. And he can hype people up, regardless of the messaging on it. He could do it on any message. He just is like does the quasi-socialist billionaires evil messaging, but he could do it on any message.
Conversation. We've had that conversations, those debates, those discussions, so we can get to the right answer and so we can help you guys decide what you believe instead of what we believe. So for folks who don't want to be part of that, bless your hearts. Go get them, Tiger, okay? But for folks who think, yeah, that's a great idea, and I'd love to pass the things that are in your populist plan, 6 incredibly popular policies, higher wages, anti-war, et cetera. Get money out of politics. So if we can do that together, whether we disagree on some issues or not, wonderful. But whatever you do, please roll forward. Please be mindful of others that are, in this community, care for each other, love each other, and let's try to be positive together. And let's go build something as we always do at TYT. Love you guys, we'll be right back. Every time you ring the bell below.
What would non-soy look like? You mean someone who looks physically non-soy or acts or both? The looks part doesn't have much to do with it. It just comes with your, I don't know how to, temperament or mannerisms or something. Like there's a world where like Andrew Tate physically could embody like the soy the soy persona. But he's not. Andrew Tate doesn't speak like he's soy. He speaks like with a lot of confidence, with a lot of masculinity, with a lot of like intention, you know. Yeah, it's not. I mean, there might be a little bit tighter physical appearance, but I don't think it's that much. You know, it's more about your mannerisms, your demeanor, your speaking style, stuff like that.